Hi guys, Squall here. Welcome to Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. Now, some of you who have been around on my channel for a while will remember that I covered Car Mechanic Sim 2014, and I think I then did some of the 2015, but gave it up because it was super grindy. And I think I even covered the 4x4 DLC in Car Mechanic 2014. It's all got a bit muddy in my mind. It was a few years ago. The biggest change to Car Mechanic Sim 2018, as you can see, is the graphics. They've massively improved, like hugely improved. They almost photorealistic now compared to the kind of cartoony graphics that we had before. Essentially, I think it's the same kind of game under the hood that the original concept was, you know, take cars apart, fix them, do jobs for money, all that kind of thing. There are some changes. There's also the ability to go and recover you know, scrap cars and buy them and sell them at auction, do them up, all that kind of thing. So there's a lot more playability in this one than there is in the old one. So we'll see how it goes. We're going to start here. It did release a few days ago, this game, and I have to say, when I played it, I streamed it, and it was a bit shaky. I'm not going to lie, it was not a good release on release day. There was inventory duplication bugs, all kinds of graphic glitches going on. The game would go into black screens. Like, since just the weekend, there's been like 4 updates to this game. But I'm nattering on. Let's have a quick look around. So what have we got? We start off with a garage like this big, you can see here. We've got the 1 car jack. You can actually get up to 3, I think it is. Down here, you've got a toolbox. The toolbox is the area where you kind of spend your skill points. So at the top here, you've got like an XP bar. That's my current level, level 1. That translates to down here. So at level 2, we can do this, as you can see here. Every time we get XP, we'll get a skill point, and we can use skill points to unlock things. You know, the standard stuff initially, 50% faster screwing and unscrewing. When you get these kind of bars here, this is when you've got like the major stuff. So expands your garage, adds a path test and repair table to your garage. So at the moment, we can't repair things. We can't, you know, in Car Mechanic you can take items and have a chance of repairing things. Well, currently you don't even have that option. You have to buy everything at the moment. Later on you start to get things like your OBD tester tool, your scanner, and your electronic meter testing tool. There's also some other interesting things like, you know, examining parts instantly when you receive a car. You can increase your chance to repair things with these kind of options here, so you can bring it all the way up to, I think, like 85% chance repair, I think it is. And then you get these extra, you know, full version ones where it says expand your garage again, adds another lifter, a warehouse, and another parking spot to your garage. You may wonder what a warehouse is for. Essentially, it's to store your parts, because when you later on in the game, you go to barns and you recover vehicles. You can buy scrap vehicles from a barn. There's also loads of scrap parts lying around, and you can basically pinch them. And you bring them back, but it sticks them in your inventory, and it gets very cluttered. So with a warehouse, you can actually put parts into your warehouse and get them out of your inventory, which is pretty handy. And then eventually later on, the final expansion here adds a paint shop, a dyno, and another lifter to your garage. So you get three lifters in total. But the downside of this is it does mean, and this is a kind of the thing that I don't like, you have to get to level 30 before you even get a paint shop. So you can't actually paint anything until level 30, which I find a little bit annoying, to be quite honest with you. There's also a tyre changer, so you can separate the rim and the tyre here. You can put the tyre on the wheel balancer, sorry, put the wheel on the wheel balancer and balance the whole wheel. So whenever you get a job where you've got to, you know, replace the tyres or replace the rims or something like that, you have to separate them first. Make the fixes and then reassemble them and then put them in the wheel balancer, and then you can load them back onto the car. So, you know, it's like real life, really. Down here, there's nothing much clickable until you get to here. That's the phone. We'll do that in a second. They're the orders. And then over here is the computer where you can order parts from. So you've got a rim shop where you can order tons of different styles of rims. As you can see, there's like a massive selection of really nice rims here. Go back to home. You've got the tyre shop. Lovely white wall tyres if you want them. You've got the license plate shop, where you can buy different styles of license plates, and you can even customize the letters on the plate. So that's kind of a nice little touch when you make your own cars later. You've got the interior shop, where you can replace the seating, and also the steering wheels, which are down the bottom end here. So there's some pretty crazy ones. There's also some very like nice modern and retro ones in here. And then you've got the body shop, if it will click on it, where you can swap out the parts for many cars. The headlights, the screens, the mirrors, just all the exterior kind of parts of the bodywork here are purchasable. You can, of course, repair a lot of this stuff, so if you find scrap versions of it, you can have a go at repairing. And then here's the main shop where you've got the engine components. As you can see here, it goes into quite a lot of detail now. You've also got suspension components, brake components. It's not showing that for some reason. Engine, suspension, brakes, there we go, catch-up game. Exhaust parts, and finally the gearbox. But we'll get into all of that later. Let's get out of that. Oh, there's the console. If you press the tilde key, you get a console, which is completely useless. There's also the engine crane, but we don't have the engine lifter yet, so you can basically lift out the engine, put it onto the crane, and you can work on the engine here if you want to. There's the toolbox, which we've done. There's the oil drain, which we've seen before. One of the big differences between this and Car Mechanic 2014 is you don't have to drag it over here and position it correctly. You basically just click on it and say, put it there, and it puts it in the right spot. But we'll do that in a minute. Is there anything else to show? There's a... No, you can't use that. There's the main door, which goes... The main gate, which takes you outside. Now, as you can see, you've got your garage here. You've got parking, which is if you go to the barns and get cars and assemble them, if you don't want them in the garage for a bit, perhaps because you're waiting for more money to get some parts, you can put them here. Or, you know, maybe if you don't want to auction them, you just want to store them away, this is where you'd put them. You'd put them in the parking area. There is a test track, which is almost exactly the same test track that was in 2014. And the physics in the test driving haven't really changed, which is a bit disappointing. I'd have liked to have seen more realistic kind of physics in that department, but that's not changed. There's a car salon, which we're not allowed to go to yet, a junkyard that we're not allowed to go to yet, car auctions that we're not allowed to go to yet, a racetrack, and then around here we'll also see barns appearing when we level up later on. So that is a sort of, 5-minute overview of the whole game as it stands currently. So what I thought we'd do is we'll crack on and do like 1 or 2 jobs to get us going here, and you'll get a feel for how the game looks. You'll see there's blatant similarities with the previous versions, you know, I'm not going to lie about that. It's basically a modern iteration of what Car Mechanic used to be. Hopefully not quite as grindy, but we'll see. Let's answer the phone. So the main thing to notice about the repair orders is you have a story order here, which is, I think it kind of depends on what level you are. You'll always have this kind of fixed repair that will come in. You'll always have that, one of them, that I've seen, a story order, and then you'll have any number starting at 1 of these timed orders. So these are the ones that, you know, once this counter reaches 0, it will go away. You can also just decline the order. You can decline it here, like that, and then, you know, if you wait a minute, you'll hear the kind of phone go beep beep, like this, and when you hear that beep beep, it means a new order's just come in. So that's the other way of doing it. The story order here says, a year and a half ago, I bought my son this car. He said he's not interested in anything except filling it up with gas. Please check the oil and the tyres. So we'll grab that. So the car appears over here. It looks like it's pretty good state. Now the way the game works when you're in this position is, you know, you can pop things up, you can work on the engine. If you want to work underneath, you're going to need to put it on the jack. Did you hear the beep then? So if you go over here now, you'll see that there's now another order. Oh no, it's not. There you go. Normal order, poor brake performance, 3.5 minutes to take it. So you're going to hear the beeps every couple of minutes. That's exactly what it is. So we need to check the tyres on this. Now, there is like a pie wheel option. So if you right-click on something, you get this kind of pie wheel thing. If you look away and do it, you get different options. You can go to your orders, so you can see what orders are on the phone, so you don't have to keep going over there. You've got your inventory, which we haven't got any parts yet. Parts notes, which we'll come to later. The settings menu. And then we've got the tablet, which we don't have yet. The tablet allows you to quick access the computer, which is very useful later on. Then if you look at the car and then do it, you'll have move the car. We can go into overview mode, which you'll have seen before, so you can see the wheels are, well, the tyres are completely shot. Is there any other bit that's completely shot? 1 second. Not at the moment. Oh, there you go. That looks like the fuel filter's completely wrecked. Even though the order, if we look at the car status, it tells you what parts need doing. It says the air filter, the fuel filter, sorry, yeah. The air filter, the fuel filter, and the tyres, and we also need to do an oil change. So it gives us a thorough breakdown at this level about what needs doing. So it's kind of hand-holding us a little bit. I'm not sure what all this power curve, torque curve stuff is. Maybe that will come later when we go into the engine mapping side. I'm not sure yet. But let's get this thing onto the jack. So we right-click, say move car, and then there's many options, garage entrances that we don't have yet. We can move it to our parking area, or we can just put it straight on the lifter. So it teleports it on the lifter. We'll do the engine side of things first. We'll pop the hood. We'll click to get inside. And what we'll do is we shall... Now you can see the fuel filter's all rusty here. If you also go into examine mode, you can basically, if there's any part that you want to test to see the status of it, you can basically hold down on it. Can't examine the electronic meter. Okay, not at the moment. Right, ignore me for a second. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's remove the fuel filter. We also need to do the air filter, so we need to pop these caps on here. There should be 4 of them, these little clips here. Now, funnily enough, the clips are in a bad repair state as well. But I don't think it's going to force us to replace that. So we'll pop off the cover, take out the air filter, like so. And if we now look at our inventory... Oh no, they're on 70%, that's fine. So one thing to watch out for is when you look at the car status, down here it'll say repair with minimum parts condition 100%. You need to pay attention to this because later on it might only say 60% or 70%. And it means that there are parts that, if they're, as long as they're above that percentage, we don't need to replace them. So, if we have an air filter lying around in our parts department that's on, you know, 70% repair state, and this says minimum 50, we can swap that in. We don't need to buy another one. But at the moment, the initial missions are on 100%. So we need to get a brand new air filter and a brand new fuel filter, and we also need to sort the tyre situation out, which is a tyre B, which we need to look at later. So if we go over to the computer here, and we go into the main shop, and we go into engine, we can see that there are a couple of kinds of air filter, so we just need to make sure we get the right one. I believe this is the one we want. Now, this is the list price, $11. Currently, we're not getting any kind of a discount. There's a skill point that will let us get a discount later. There's also a wonderful search box here, so we can go fuel filter. We'll take that for $30. And now if we go back to our inventory, you can see this is the original fuel filter, and this is the original air filter here, 0% condition. There's also a drop-down list, and this is one of the bugs that hasn't been fixed yet. There's different sort options. There's sort by arrival, which is useful, because it's the order that they came into your inventory, which can be very useful. There's sort by condition, so this will sort by, 100% will be here, 0% will be at the start, and then there's finally sort by the name, which I find very useful, because it means I can see that I've got my old one and my new one, and I can click on my old one and say get rid of it, or rather sell it, but it's only worth like $1. And now I know my inventory is full of parts that I can fit back on no problem at all. So what I'll do is we'll go around to the jack side of here, and we'll pop this thing up. So just take the hood down if you can. Don't want to leave that up while we're doing that. Pop it up again, and we're going to drain the oil out of here, because we're going to have to do that anyway. So we say move equipment, move it to the car lifter, and it just teleports it. So none of that kind of dragging around. And interestingly enough, like at first when I played this, I was trying to open up the sump plug there, the drain plug, but you don't have to do that. You click on the drain here and say use equipment, and then it just mystically drains out, which, it's a little bit faff. I would have preferred to be able to use the drain plug myself, but unfortunately that's just the way it is. Right, let's get on to the wheels. Now, the job said we need to... He said that he's not interested in anything else. Filling up the gas station. Please check the oil and the tyres. Now, essentially what they're saying is we need 100% repair state on the tyres. So we don't really seem to have much of a choice here. We're just going to have to take the wheel off. You can see, we get a pneumatic bolt now as well, not a ratchet thing. I'll show you an interesting problem in a second as well. Another little bugette that you'll see. You might see a few of these today. Because like I say, I know the developers have been working all weekend to patch this game out, but there's definitely still some issues. So pay attention to the direction the bolts are turning. They're turning anti-clockwise to remove, which is how it should be. Now, if the bug is still here... There you go, look, when you come down this side of the car, it turns clockwise to unbolt, which is a pretty interesting feature. Right, let's remove that. Righty then, so that's the 4... Look in the inventory now. That's the 4 wheels. Now you can see... no, we don't want to sell that. You can see it says condition 41%, 40%, 35 and 42. The problem is these are 2 parts that are joined together, and you'll see this a bit more later in the game when it starts to join other parts up. But what we need to do, we need to go to separate parts here. And when you put them on here, now you can see the state of them. You can see the tyre is in 12%, but the rim is in 70%. You can basically see, I mean, how you have a 0% condition tyre, I don't know. But essentially what we need to do is we need to separate these. So we go, yes, we want to separate. And then we're going to have to buy 4 new tyres, swap them out, reassemble them, rebalance them, chuck them back on the car. So we click on that now, we say take those parts. And then essentially we rinse and repeat with all 4 of these. Now when we're assembling them later, you'll see we can kind of economize a little bit because the balancing takes quite a bit of time to do. So we can have both of these machines running at the same time while they're balancing and stripping, and then also we can be fitting while they're balancing. So we'll maximize our time in a little bit, but we can't do much right now. We're quite literally bottlenecked on this. And then we should be able to get rid of this car fairly quickly. Come on, there we go, right. Alright, so now we look at our inventory and you'll see we've got the 4 rims all on 70% and we've got 4 tyres. Now, we need to pay attention here because they are standard tyre B, they're 205/55 R16s. Important, because we need to remember this. It's a tyre B, 205/55 R16. So we run down to our computer, and this is where the tablet would be handy. Run down to our computer, we go back home, we go into the tyre shop. We find, now this is an off-road tyre, we want a standard tyre B, it said. So we look for standard tyre B, standard tyre there, standard tyre B is here. Now 205/55 R16, so we go up to 205/55 R16, right? So you've got to make sure that you order the right spec tyre. And then we want 4 of them. $1,160, luckily we've got enough to pony up the cash. And then we go to our inventory. And if all's gone well, we should have tyres exactly the same. Look, standard tyre B, 205/55 R16. And now we can sell the 4 Duff tyres. And we get a little bit of cash for that. Not a lot, but it's money back in the bank. And then we leg it down to here. And we go to install. So, whenever you've got multi-component parts, this is the kind of what the screen will look like. It'll ask you to pick from different pieces. So we click one of the wheels, one of the rims like that, and then it'll say, which tyre do you want? Now, straight away, I'm sure you've spotted that there's an inventory bug. Do you remember I said to you there's an inventory bug? We just sold these 4 tyres, and yet it still thinks we have them. So this game is still a bit buggy, but it should be okay. When you save and quit and come back in, it should realise what's going on. Also, I think there's a memory leak in this game, because after you've been playing it for about half an hour, or to an hour, you'll notice frame rate drops, particularly when you come out of the shop. And I've noticed if you come out, save the game, come back in, the frame rates go back to 60 FPS. So if I start seeing the frame rate lag, I just exit and come back in again. Hopefully they'll get those ironed out fairly soon. Right, we'll reassemble this. And then what we do is we take that and we pop over to here and we say we want to balance this. Now do you see this little symbol here? That means it's not been balanced yet. So we'll click on that one. We'll say balance, and while it's doing that, we'll go in and we'll kick off another assembly. Now this will finish before that because that does about 3 spins for a balance. So we should get another one of these done. Like that. We'll remove it. We'll go back to install. Make sure we put the right tyre on. There we go. And then we take that wheel. We go to balance. You can see this one's been done. So we want this one now. Make sure you get the right one, because the game will let you balance the same wheel twice. It will let you do that. Okay, so we have one balance wheel. So while we're doing this, we now right click, go to part mount, hold down the wheel. This is the one we want. Bolt the wheel back on. Like so. Run back down here. Take that wheel. Gotta wait for this one. Like I said, this one takes a bit of time. So we take that. Rebalance one of the ones that hasn't been done. Run back down here. Part mounts. Get that on there. Okay, so that's 2 of the wheels done. Just in time for this one to appear. No, no, no. See, I didn't click. See this? It doesn't by default. If it sorted this by order of not done, it would automatically select one that hadn't been done. But unfortunately, the game doesn't do that. So you have to be very careful to make sure you don't rebalance a wheel that's already been balanced. Slight little niggle, but you know, that's the way it is, I'm afraid. Right, put this wheel back on. The one good thing about this game is the graphics are superior to the previous versions, like they really are. A lot better. And some of the details nice as well. Right, air filter's 100%. The air filter cover's going in, and then the final thing we need to do is put these little clips back on. Now, because this is not an item that's been listed to be fixed, it doesn't matter that they're 70%. Like, it's only the items that it lists for repair that need to be the minimum spec that it said. Which is why we're able to put back 70% clips and it not actually matter. So if you look at the part status now, you should see there's the fuel filter, the air filter's been done. We've got one tyre left, and then we need to fill it with oil, and then the job is complete. So we'll get the final wheel off here. And we'll have this guy's car sorted in a jiffy. Okay, that's that done. So to put it's kind of weird, this bit. In order to put the oil into the engine, you have to disassemble the oil fill plug. I know, don't ask, it's weird. We'll put in some super oil premium. Now, you play guessing games with this one. I think it's about there. And then you can check the dipstick down here, and you can see that's mostly full. It should be enough, but if you want to double check, just go to the car status, and if that's gone green, then you've put enough fuel in there. So let's pop the old lid down, and that should be that. That is our first repaired car. And now we'll just go to finish order. Now down here it says money spent 891, which is that about right? Because I thought we spent 1100 on tyres. I'm not sure that's right. Oh, we got some money back, yeah. So what it's doing is it's taking how much we spent minus the money we got back, I think. Now, this is one of my previous complaints about this game. I would have always wanted to see a full breakdown. You know, like you would get from a garage if you got an invoice. It would say, you bought this, 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 this. You know, we refunded you for whatever. I would like to see a proper breakdown, but it looks like we've not got one. The total payout was 2,100, which should take us up to almost 5k when we finish the order. And it will give us some XP. We're on 26 XP at the moment. So there you go. We're now on 5 grand and 130 out of 307 XP. And we've completed our first job in Car Mechanic Sim 2018. So we're going to leave it there for this part. Hope you enjoyed that quick overview. In the next video, we're going to carry on. Hopefully we can level up next time. Do a few more jobs and we'll start to unlock some of these skills. That's it from me. Take care, guys. Happy repairing.